Good morning, everyone. It is currently around 8:40 in the morning. Quite a late start for us. Now he tends to wake up more around 7:30, but he ended up waking up at 6:30 a.m. this morning, which is just a little bit early for him. I know that he needs more sleep than that, so he woke up and he grizzled a bit, but he didn't cry, so I left him just to see what happened. And he went back to sleep, which was great because I really needed a bit more sleep too. Anyway, welcome to 24 Hours with a 12-month-old. Yes, he is one now. I just can't believe that we've already had a full year of being a mum, and I'm just like, how did this happen? As he is now one, I'm not showing his face online anymore. Some of you might remember I talked about this in one of my videos, I think when I was pregnant, about what I was doing with his privacy and stuff online. He's getting bigger, and so he's gonna lose that sort of generic-y baby face now that he's becoming a toddler, and so I'm no longer going to be showing that online. He is desperately trying to look at the camera though, so this is going to be interesting. So today it's this little guy's first day at nursery. It's just his settling in session, so it's about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and I stay the whole time. But it's the first time that we're going there. He's starting his first day on Thursday this week. It's currently Monday. And I don't know, I'm just feeling kind of mixed about it. I do need that extra day to work. My parents are still having him one day a week, and he's going to nursery one day a week, so I have that extra day, and I do really need it now. But yeah, I'm just feeling kind of like, oh, my baby's getting so big, and he's also trying to climb off the bed. Okay, let's stop that. Oh gosh, Orin, ow, ow, ow. Oh, he's also started pinching, which is not very pleasant. Anyway, look, here's Mummy's phone. Oh, yeah, we need to skedaddle, actually, because we've got to get to the nursery for 9:30 to start the settling in session, and, well, it's now already 8:45, so then we need to get up, get dressed, have some breakfast, and then probably be on our way quite quickly. Oh, hello, darling. It is around 9:10 now, and I've managed to get us both up, both dressed, both fed. So I think in about 5 minutes, I'm going to get everyone ready to go out. Going to get you in your pushchair. So the nursery is only about a 10-minute walk away, so I'm going to walk. I'm not going to take the car, but I'm thinking that in the future, I might actually look at getting my bike kind of serviced. I haven't used it in ages, and have a bike seat put on the back, because it's sort of the perfect distance for cycling, particularly now we're starting to get into better weather. It's March, so that always makes me feel like spring is very firmly on the way. I just think cycling to nursery could be a really nice way to do it. Oh, today is going to be tricky. You want this camera so bad. Well, I think that went really well. He settled in no problem. He was very confident walking about everywhere, which I thought I would, well, crawling about everywhere, which I was pretty confident he would be, because he's always been quite a confident baby, but it's really nice to see it. So yeah, well, that was very successful, which is such a relief. He did really well there. I mean, obviously I stayed the whole time. He very quickly acclimatized to the environment, was happy to crawl off and play with the toys and some of the other children who were there, and they were really pleased to see how confident he was, which was so lovely. I mean, I was pretty confident he would be, because he's been around a lot of babies since he was born. We've always met up with quite a lot of our antenatal group and other friends, and so he's used to socialising and playing and like play groups and stuff. So I hoped he'd be okay, but it was really reassuring for me as well to see it. I'm still feeling a bit like, oh, you know, thinking about him having a whole day there. But they did offer me another settling in session on Wednesday. I'm working tomorrow. My parents have him, but on Wednesday we're going to do another settling in session for him before he has his full day on Thursday. And I'm thinking I might just do a little bit less. So normally he'd probably be there from like, I don't know, 8 till 5, but I think I'm going to do sort of 9 till 4 on Thursday, just to kind of reduce the hours a little bit and build him up. I don't know, I'll see how I feel at the time and how much work I have to do as well. But yeah, good steps to see it's all going okay. It is now 10:20. This little guy is due a nap, I think around 10:30, although because he woke up at 6:30 and then went back to sleep again, I don't know whether his body has kind of registered that as his first nap, just a very early nap, so he might fight me on this 10:30 nap, we'll see. But I'm going to try and see what happens. When I want a story but cannot find my book, my mum will always know the perfect place to look. So I put him down like 15 minutes ago, and it seems he has gone to sleep, so I'm kind of surprised, but also quite relieved, because it means he's hopefully got into his regular routine of napping in the morning and then afternoon naps, which happen around this sort of time. He has actually, over the last, I'd say, 2 months, got better at having a more structured routine. So he's always done, like, you know, one nap in the morning and one nap in the afternoon, but the length of those naps has typically been a bit like, who knows? Whereas more recently, he's got a bit more consistent in his first nap is usually around an hour and a half long now. We got back from holiday on Friday, late Friday evening actually, and so Sunday he ended up having like a 2.5 hour nap in the morning, but fair enough, he missed out on some of the sleep from the trip and everything. But usually he's about an hour and a half nap in the morning, and then in the afternoon he has anything from sort of like half an hour to an hour. So that's been quite good for me in terms of having a more reliable kind of schedule of, okay, I'm pretty sure he's going to be down for this amount of time now. Whereas before I was like, how much can I get done while he's napping? Is he going to wake up soon, or is he going to sleep another hour? It also means that if he does wake up, say a bit earlier, or he's had a bad night and I haven't had as much sleep as I need, that I know that his first nap he's going to nap longer, and so that's the one that I need to try and go back to bed for and catch up on some sleep as well if I feel like I need it, because his afternoon nap, by the time I've put him down and I've got into bed and I've drifted off, he's waking up again, so it's kind of not worth it then. But today I feel okay. I didn't have the best night's sleep possible, because he did wake up, I think, at like, actually he woke up a few times last night. He woke up at 12, but I wasn't asleep at that point. Then he woke up at like 2:30, and then he woke up at 6:30, and then went back to sleep at that point. So I did have a bit of a disturbed night's sleep, but I feel okay, and I have quite a lot of things to do around the house because we got back from holiday on Friday. I've sort of started doing like some of the washing, and I did quite a bit of cooking yesterday, so I need to clean the kitchen up from that. I'm not going to bother with the toys on the floor here because he's just going to destroy them anyway. But I also really need to empty the nappy bins. There's just a few bits of like jobs and stuff that I need to catch up on now that we're back home. So I think I'm going to give him another 5 minutes just to kind of be certain he's asleep, and then I'm going to start doing some of them. When I say my kitchen is a mess, this is what I mean. This is the current state of my countertop on this side of the kitchen. And the truth is, like, that only took a day to get like that, because yesterday it was completely clear. I think part of the problem is I haven't managed to get into a good routine when it comes to cleaning in the evening. What I really want to do is like clean it all before I go to bed. However, by the time I get to the point where I go to bed, I feel really tired, and I kind of look at the kitchen and go, oh, I can't bother to do that. I'll do it in the morning, so I procrastinate. And I haven't really got into a routine, or I haven't got into a routine of cleaning it, which I think I really need to, because I've managed to get into more of a routine with some of the household jobs. Like, for example, I now do my washing on a Monday, Oren's washing on a Thursday, and empty the bins on a Wednesday, and that has really helped me with kind of keeping on top of those tasks, of having a day where I know I do it. But I feel like getting into a routine in the evening could be a really good way for me to kind of stay on top of the kitchen stuff and just the cleaning and stuff in general, because I think, you know, habit is one of those things, just doing it. The problem I've got though, and I've talked about this previously, is that when Oren goes down for the night, he's not actually asleep when I put him down. I put him down awake, and he takes a good sort of 10-15 minutes, I'd say, to settle and actually get to sleep, sometimes a little bit longer. So whereas I think the best thing for me would be to kind of put him down, come out and go straight into like doing a big clean and everything, actually I need to wait for him to be asleep before I start making lots of noise in the kitchen and stuff, because otherwise it'll wake him up, he'll start crying, and then I have to go back in and soothe him again. So what I tend to do is think, I'll do it in half an hour, and then I go and, you know, sit down, start watching a show or something, and then half an hour comes and goes, and I'm like, oh, I'm really comfy now, I can't bother to get up. And also I need to cook my dinner at some point. Nearly fell over there. Obviously I need to cook my dinner in the evening too, and so if I clean up straight after he's gone to bed, then I'm going to make mess with dinner, and I have to clean up after dinner. It's just, cleaning and stuff is always a never-ending task, and part of it is I think I need to get into a better routine of doing a general clean, and part of it is I just mentally need to switch something on in my head that goes, there is going to be mess and it's okay. Just need to stay on top of it enough that it doesn't get out of control. That mess out there looks like a lot, but actually it's partly because I just haven't had a chance to empty the dishwasher yet, which is clean. Once that's done and I've loaded it up, probably about 75% of the dishes and stuff that are sitting on the side there are going to go in the dishwasher, and it'll look a lot better. So it's just gone 12 now. Little man has just woken up, and I'm having a bit of a debate because normally I give him a bottle at this time when he wakes up. However, I've noticed he's not really eating his lunch as much. He's not been eating as much lunch though when I've given him a bottle, so I think I'm going to skip it today and just see what happens and see if he eats a bit more. He needs to have a certain amount of milk each day according to his dietitian, but I'm flexible on when I'm allowed to give that to him, so I think I'm going to try skipping the bottle now and see how it goes. So I just did some rearranging with the play area and cleaned out a bit of space for some more playing to happen. Where does the ball go? Where does the ball go? Can you pop it in? Good job! Can you get it out? How does it come out? Well done. Did you push it open? You did. And pop it in this one. Yeah, good job. Oh. He's got really good at this game recently. He's not really engaged with any of these sort of ball kind of putting in the hole games before, but he has just figured this one out, which is really cool. I think he's getting hungry now, so I'm going to give him some lunch and see how this goes without a bottle. Thank you. So little man's lunch today is a few pieces of cut up cooked sausage and a cut up muffin that I made. This is a sweet corn and cheese muffin. Obviously I use dairy free cheese, but this is the first time I used the Cathedral City vegan cheese in it because he wasn't really eating any of my other muffins, and I think it's because they were quite bland, and he's now got to a point where he likes a lot of flavour. So yesterday he ate one of these quite happily, which was a real bonus. So I'll see what he does today. I can't remember whether I showed you in a previous video or not, but I was giving him his food in like a plate that had different parts of it where he could like pick and choose what he wanted, but he's currently going through a very throwy stage, so I find that it's easier now to just have it on a plate by me and then hand him things one at a time and see how he does. Oh, he's eaten a quarter of the muffin. Yeah, I definitely think his kind of taste buds have switched, because at the early days he liked really kind of plain food, right up I think until like 10 or 11 months he only really wanted stuff that was plain. He wanted plain pasta, kind of wasn't really into vegetables. There were certain, still doesn't really like meat. Okay, another piece coming. Sausage is the only thing he's typically eaten meat-wise. I've made like meatballs, I've made shredded chicken, I've put it in pasta, I've done all sorts. He doesn't seem to like it. And last night I made some like lentil dal, well it was dal, but I blended it so it didn't end up being dal, it ended up being soup. But like a lentil, potato and carrot, onion, garlic soup. And I used a baby-friendly stock cube in it, so one that has like low salt. And obviously didn't add anything other than kind of like some spices and stuff. But he didn't like it at all. He let me give him a tiny bit of a mouthful, and then he did not want anything else. Fortunately, I was able to kind of add some salt and stuff to it to make it tasty to my taste buds, so it wasn't completely wasted. He's still not a fan of being spoon-fed. He does still prefer to feed himself. Are you going to throw that on the floor? Please don't. He's still very much a finger food baby. He prefers to feed himself, but he will let me feed him certain meals, like if I have... Okay, do you want some sausage? If I have like mini pasta or some rice and stir some really flavourful sauce through it, so like some really kind of garlicky sauce or some herbs, etc., then he's typically quite happy to eat it. So that's a new bonus that I've got, is there's 1 or 2 spoon-fed meals I can now give him aside from porridge and yogurt, but otherwise we're still very much a finger food child. He actually did quite well with that lunch. He had 2 muffins. Yes, he did. He had 2 muffins, a little bit of sausage once I cut the skin off, so I think I need to remember to do that if I want to take it out with us for a packed lunch someday this week. And he also ate a few raspberries and some grapes. He loves grapes and raspberries. He loves fruit generally, actually, berries in particular he's a big fan of. So now that he's been fed and he seems relatively happy, I'm going to leave him in the play area and see what I can do about the chaos over here. I don't know if anyone else does this, but one of my tricks to kind of keep myself motivated when I need to do a task like cleaning or stuff is put my headphones in, set myself like a timer for 10 minutes, either mentally or on my phone, and put some music on and just get as much done in that 10-minute time span as I can. And I find often I'll be at the point where that timer goes off and I'm like, oh, there's only 1 or 2 bits to sort out, and I'll kind of be in the zone of cleaning and I get everything done. So it's a big tip if you're someone that struggles to get started with something or you get overwhelmed by a task, set a timer for 10 minutes and say you're just doing 10 minutes, and then you'll probably get more done than you think. I think that looks much better. I was right, it was mostly just superficial stuff. Once I had emptied out the dishwasher and put a lot of stuff in there, then it was actually quite easy to wash up and clean surfaces. So I just need to put the bottles on sterilise now, and that's this area done. It's 2 o'clock now, and I started feeling a little bit peckish about 10 minutes ago. I was thinking, do I want a cup of tea? Do I want like an afternoon snack? Suddenly realised, haven't had my lunch yet, of course, because I fed my little one. I can't feed myself and him at the same time. It's just not possible at the moment. But I completely forgot about myself. So I'm going to make myself some food. I ended up making a ton of that like lentil soup yesterday. So I think I'm going to have a little portion of this, maybe with some of the sausages that he's kind of rejecting. And I think I have some wraps that need eating up too, so I might use some of that as well. Oh, other exciting news. I think the last time that I filmed one of these 24 hours was when he was 11 months old, and I just started doing the milk ladder, and he'd failed on like step 2. Well, anyway, we did step 2 again, and he was fine. Did step 3 and he was fine. Did step 4 and he was fine, and now I'm moving on to step 5. So now I am able to have cheese again. Cheese is back in my diet, and that was the main thing that I wanted. It's made such a difference. We've just got back from Gran Canaria, like as I said, on Friday, and while I was out there I was able to have pasta, I could have pizza, I could have anything that I wanted pretty much when we went out for meals, because if it had cheese on it, didn't matter if it was cooked or it was raw on the top, it was fine. The only things I currently can't have are, well, I'm about to start trying with yogurt, which is stage 5, the milk ladder, on the one that I'm doing. And then after stage 5 you can basically have everything else that's dairy, like butter, cream, etc., except for full like whole milk or glass of milk. That's stage 6. So if I pass stage 5, then I get even more back in my diet. Sorry, that's the microwave. Okay, as I was saying, basically stage 5 is yogurt, and then once that's done you can move on to everything else except for milk, and then you go on to milk. So I think we're doing really well, which is a really good sign. Oh darling, what happened? Anyway, I'm just adding some cheese onto the top of my soup because I feel like it. But yeah, it's made a massive difference to me with my diet. There's so many more things I can have now, and it's so much easier when going out and about to find things to eat that I like. So at the moment I'm continuing with breastfeeding because I can have it in my diet. That was the main reason I wanted to do it, was because I wasn't sure I was going to continue breastfeeding him if I couldn't have that stuff back in my diet again. But as it looks like I can, as long as everything continues to be well with him, then I'm going to continue breastfeeding until we kind of come to a natural conclusion, I think. But we made it a year, and oh my gosh, at times it felt like I would never get there. So to feel like I've reached that 1 year milestone feels pretty good, I'm not going to lie. He was feeling a little bit sad about 10 minutes ago, but we read a book together, did some cuddling, and he seems to have cheered up a bit. And he's currently enjoying Rara. Oh, and he's now found the camera. So it is 2:45 now. I ended up putting Oren down for a nap a little bit earlier than he was probably on schedule to, just because he was getting quite grizzly, and I just, also he'd slept a bit later this morning than I thought he was going to, and so his nap would happen a bit later, and so I realised I didn't really want him going to sleep at 3 o'clock because he could potentially sleep to 4 and his bedtime's at 6, and that wouldn't work. So I ended up putting him down around 2:30, and he seems to be settling okay, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's going to work and he's not about to start crying and letting me know he's not having it. In the meantime, I'm going to take this particular nap break to have some time to myself. I cleaned the kitchen earlier, I emptied the bins. The washing is drying on one rack, one that needs to be put away, but I'll probably do that this evening. But a cup of tea and some biscuits and chocolate, I think, is just what the doctor ordered. I was thinking about putting something in the slow cooker earlier to make for dinner. However, I have some pork that I want to make into like pulled pork with some barbecue seasoning. And I've got a Sainsbury's delivery coming this evening with the barbecue seasoning on, so I obviously couldn't do that today. And then a friend of mine has been going through a bit of a tough time recently, so I just went on to like the Uber Eats app and sent her a little gift of some chocolates and stuff. But when I was on there, I didn't realise that I couldn't use a voucher. So whenever I buy my groceries now, or I do like a takeaway or anything, I always buy a voucher through a cashback app called Jam Donut. Not sponsored or anything, by the way, but they're really good. They have really good rates, and I think I've like over time got back £30 worth of stuff, so it's well worth doing. So getting into the habit of buying a gift card every time I use one of those things has been really helpful to me. So I bought a £10 gift card for the Uber Eats app. However, it told me that I couldn't use it for gifts, so I still have this credit that I've already bought, and you can't like return the gift card because I've already claimed it. So I'm thinking I might just use that up this evening for a takeaway instead. So wasn't planning to do that, but hey ho. Of course, it's now nearly 4:45 and he's still asleep. So my plan to put him down early so he didn't sleep too long has obviously failed. I think if he's not woken up by 4, I might stick my head in and see if I think I should wake him up, but I don't know, there's always these debates, isn't it? Always these debates with kids whether or not to wake them. Anyway, I'm having a lovely time here. I've just finished watching the Aftershock documentary on Netflix, and I'm now watching the anthrax attacks documentary that's on there. So I seem to be going through a phase of like historical documentaries at the moment. Okay, I went and stuck my head in the door because this is so unusual for him to sleep this long in the afternoon that I was like is something wrong? I feel like that's such a mum thing though. But fortunately he's fine, he's breathing, so it's all okay. I think I'm just going to let him sleep as long as he wants to be honest, and if we have to go to bed half an hour later, then that's what we'll do. But while I remember, I wanted to say, for those of you who've been around for quite some time and remember the kind of Precious Star pads days where I used to run a business selling reusable cloth menstrual pads, we had this range of pads called the Sparkle range, and they had all these really cool prints on the top. Well, when I closed the business down, obviously I still had some fabric left over from making all these pads, and I decided to list it on Etsy so that anyone who wants to maybe buy some of these fabrics, if you really had a pattern that you liked and you're a keen seamstress or sewer, then maybe you might want to get some of them. So they're currently online on an Etsy store. I'll put the link down below. Once it's gone, it's gone. We're selling them just for $2.99, so really cheaply. And like I said before, once they're gone, they're gone. Obviously, we're not restocking them. This is just to sell off the rest of the stock. And any stock that doesn't kind of sell, probably within the next month, we will, I think, donate to a worthy cause. But I did just want to mention it because I know that quite a few people that follow me are also keen sewers as well, or maybe you had a print that you particularly liked and you want to make some of your own cloth pads from it. You can go ahead and get the prints from the link in the description box down below. And I'd love to see your makes, by the way. Feel free to tag me in them on Instagram if you follow me there. Again, the link's in the description for my Instagram and all my other social media accounts. But I always love seeing what you guys make with this stuff, and it'd be interesting to see them turned into other things too. I'm also starting to think about what I'm going to do for his dinner tonight, because like I said before, I think I'm going to have a takeaway, but obviously still need to feed him. And I feel like my life is just constantly, at the moment, a case of cleaning up, cooking food that he doesn't often like and rejects, and constantly thinking up new food ideas, even though I actually use this app, I think I've mentioned it before, called My Little Food Critic, which is really useful. I highly recommend it. Not sponsored. You do have to pay for it each month, but it's one of those apps that I think is just so worth it for me because there's so many recipes on there. If I'm feeling like really uninspired, I just go on there and flick through some, and I usually find something that I'm like, oh, I think I could make this, or I could make a version of it based off of what I have in the cupboards in the fridge at the moment, and it just makes my life so much easier with feeding. But I'm not gonna lie, one of the things I am really looking forward to with Oren starting an extra day at nursery is having a full day that I don't have to worry about any of his meals, because they will give him breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I am so stoked for that. Well, somebody finally woke up at about 4:10. Actually, I think he woke up about 5 minutes ago. So goodness knows what bedtime's going to look like this evening. I think I'll try at the usual time, especially if he's being a bit grizzly, or if he's playing quite happily, I'll leave him a bit longer. Now, normally he'd have dinner at about 4:30, but because it's 4:10 now and he's having his first bottle of the day, I didn't give him a bottle after his last waking, and he didn't seem to need one after he had lunch as well, so I think we might be dropping down to just 1 bottle a day now, which is kind of exciting. As long as he's still putting on the weight that he should, then I think that's okay, but I'll speak to the dietitian and see what she has to say. But yeah, I think I'll do his dinner half an hour later at 5 o'clock. I was originally thinking I might do an omelette, but now I've remembered that I only have 1 egg, so I think we'll just do some very simple pasta. I've got some like ice cube trays filled with frozen sauce that I've made, so I'm going to defrost 1 or 2 of those and mix it through with the pasta. I'm also currently looking at his trousers thinking we need to get some new clothes. Funnily enough, up until about like 6 to 9 month age clothing, I haven't really had to buy anything because I had quite a lot of stuff left over from fostering. Generally speaking, when I fostered, the children would leave with any clothing they currently fit, but anything that they'd outgrown of, I just keep hold of and then use it for other children in the future or whatever. I tended to sort through it and kind of get rid of some of it because there was a lot of clothing, so I just kind of keep the main bits. But yeah, I had quite a bit of clothing up until the 6 to 9 month, and after 6 to 9 month, there was just a big gap. I didn't really have anything, and I think that's because one of my last babies that left was in that age of clothing. So it's only recently that I've actually had to start really thinking about buying clothing for him. And I'm now looking at his stuff that is 9 to 12 months, thinking he's growing out this quite quickly. So I think we're going to have to go shopping soon, Monkey, and get you some 12 to 18 months of... Oh, can you not throw your bottle everywhere? I'm going to squeeze you. Squeeze you. Squeeze you. Catch! Good catching! Good throwing! Ready? Catch! Well done! Oh, bless you, darling. He wants the camera so bad. In case you couldn't already tell, we are currently standing up very well, and he's just learned how to like walk holding onto his walker. Not super well, but he's just got there. I've got a very hungry baby waiting for his dinner, so I'm just cooking the pasta, and I've also got the frozen sauce here. I tend to like take it out maybe just half an hour before I need to use it, because actually I find when he's hungry like this, leaving it still frozen a bit helps to cool the pasta down really quickly. The pasta, kind of the heat from pasta, melts the sauce, and then like the sauce being frozen helps to cool it down, so it means that he can eat it straight away. I might need to still defrost it a little bit in the microwave depending on like how quickly it does. I know, darling, you're very hungry. Mummy's cooking it now. But in theory, it should be enough to defrost this and kind of cool down the pasta at the same time to just the perfect temperature. Well, pasta was a failure. I have to admit, when I tasted it with the sauce, it was a little bit bland. So I added some pesto and stirred it through, and that made it more tasty. But he still kept throwing it on the floor, so of course now I've got all these marks to clear up because he threw them off the mat. I could get a bigger mat, but the thing is, he's so good at throwing now that he can throw like right over here some of his food, so there's just no point unless I had the whole floor redone. So I need to now have a go at it with this carpet cleaner. Oh, and he really hasn't eaten much for dinner, but he did have a big bottle and he had a few pieces of pasta, so hopefully that's enough. I have accepted that I'm pretty sure once I'm done having kids, I'm going to need to have this carpet redone. Which is fair enough, but still, I prefer not to be having to scrub it every time he has a food. We are fully embracing toddlerhood right now, aren't we? I know it's a normal stage for them to go through, but oh my god, it's so annoying. Anyway, luckily I like this pasta, so I shall just eat it instead. Well, it is 5 to 6 now, and I think I'm going to try putting him down for the night, because he is a bit grizzly, and I think he might be tired. Leggy lose. No! Because he's not usually this bad. This is because I've got the camera out. I'm popping your Nana outfit. We are not buying poppers again for this age. Time to go bye-byes now. He fought that bedtime, but he did eventually go down. It is now 20 to 7, and I am just debating what dinner I want to get, because I have £10 credit. See, I could get like a one-off meal, like KFC or fish and chips, etc. Or I could spend a bit more and go for a Chinese meal, which would then do me like 3 or 4 separate meals, because like I can never finish Chinese in one go. I don't know anyone that can. And for me, it'll do me like several meals, so that could be quite useful over the coming days, particularly as Oren's starting at nursery and we're going to be busy and stuff, so I think I'm leaning more towards that way. But I don't know, I haven't really got like a big craving this evening. You know how sometimes you're like, oh, I really fancy, you know, an Indian or a burger or whatever. I haven't really got that this evening, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm getting peckish, so I'm going to have to make a decision soon. I ended up going for KFC because I decided that I didn't really fancy Chinese, and this was also easier to order. Oh, I ate too much. The jeans have been undone, the belly is loose. These are actually my pre-pregnancy jeans, and they kind of fit okay now. I realised that I fit into, like technically fit into, pretty much all my pre-pregnancy clothes now. I'm a year postpartum. Whether they're comfortable is another matter. So I think in terms of actual comfort fit, I'm probably like one size bigger on like the trouser end. My tops are the same, but then like nothing's really changed up here, except my boobs have definitely decided to deflate a bit now that I'm not feeding as much. But on the bottom half, I think I'm around one size bigger. Just from a comfort perspective, I can fit into my pre-pregnancy clothes, but I'm not sure I'd want to wear them all the time. It is 7:45 now, and I've had a message from Sainsbury's to say that my shopping is going to be delivered between 8 and 9 o'clock today, which is good because the slot that I chose was between 7 and 11 p.m, so it could have been much later. But I am feeling quite tempted by the idea of a bath, so depending on what time they actually come, I may or may not have one. We'll see. I'm also debating whether or not I want to actually tidy up the mess that is currently my living room. As you can see, it's kind of all these toys on the floor. It probably won't take me more than 2 minutes to do, but it's like, I think mentally, because I know that tomorrow he'll just pull them all out again, and you know, is it worth my energy being expended on that? I don't really know. Decisions. But anyway, I know in my last video I had a bit of like a couple of negative notes going on because I'd heard back from a job that I was interested in that I hadn't kind of got through to the next round. Oren had failed the milk ladder at stage 2, or I thought he had. And so I was feeling a bit down, really. But this month, things are a lot better. As I said earlier, he's doing much better with the milk ladder. So I have more foods that I enjoy back in my diet, which is so nice. After like missing them for 6 months, 6 or 7 months now, I think. It was just so good to be able to eat them again. And we will continue working up the ladder. But now that he's at least got to like stage 4 being fine, I think like I can I can miss some of the other stuff a bit longer if I have to, but just being able to have cheese and stuff has been great. And work-wise, well, as I kind of showed you guys earlier, Oren had a settling in day at nursery today, and he's going to be going once a week from this Thursday onwards. So he'll be doing one day of my parents and one day at nursery, giving me a bit more time to do kind of work for my content, my videos, my social media channels, but also something that I've always kind of done on the side, I don't know if I've talked about this, is kind of freelance social media management. So for small businesses, charities, organisations, whatever, who don't have the budget to pay somebody full-time to be their kind of social media, their marketing manager, comms, all that stuff, that's something that I obviously, through this work and stuff, have quite a lot of experience in. So what I can do is basically, as a freelancer, charge for a certain number of hours per week. They can choose how many they want, and then, you know, I will do their social media for them. And that's something I've done sort of ad hoc and part-time in the past. Sometimes it was voluntary, you know, in the early days when I was still kind of learning what to do, etc. But I decided that actually it'd be something quite good to do now, because obviously with Oren, having something that's quite flexible is really good. I actually enjoy being self-employed and being freelance and being able to kind of set my own kind of time and everything. So I've started doing a bit more of that, and I've recently gained a new client, and so gradually I'm building up my list with this. And funnily enough, one of them came through YouTube. She follows me on YouTube, so that was really cool to see that happen and kind of how the world mixes like that. So yeah, things are good on the job front right now too. So just a couple of positive updates for you there. Well, Sainsbury's told me that they'd be delivering my shopping between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m, or more specifically 8:02 p.m. or 9:02 p.m, and it is currently 8:58 p.m, so right at the end of that. So they've got 4 minutes to deliver it within that particular time slot. So I guess it's going to be at the later end, so I don't think I'll be having a bath tonight, but I do have a good book that I'm reading, so I really hope that they do get here soon so I can get into my pyjamas at last and then curl up in bed with that book. It is 9:20, and the Sainsbury's guy came like 5-10 minutes ago. However, I ordered a pot of cream, and it obviously burst at some point, so it had leaked over like one of the baskets. Like, it got everywhere, so it's over quite a lot of my shopping. So had to get some paper towels to clean it up. But on the positive side, he said to me anything I wanted to keep, he'd just refund me anyway. So I've now got quite a bit of my shopping completely refunded, and I've still got it to eat because it was covered in cream basically. So you can see here I've got some paper towels to cover it up. But yeah, so anything that was touched by the cream I've got for free. So, you know, silver lining. Well, it's 10:30 now. Guess who still hasn't gone to bed? To be fair though, I was running out of storage on my camera and it was dying, so I needed to upload some footage to my editing software from this vlog and also charge it a bit as well. So I ended up just sitting here going through Instagram and YouTube, etc. But now I think I'm going to go and get ready into my pyjamas. There isn't really anything that needs to be done cleaning wise today. I mean, there's some clothing that I should really put away in my cupboard, but that's not urgent. There's other clothing that's still drying. The living room I've decided to leave because why not? And the kitchen's pretty clean because I cleaned up earlier. I'm also a little bit concerned about the fact that he has been like stirring a bit since he's gone to bed. He really didn't have much for dinner. Like I said, he had a few pieces of pasta and he obviously had that bottle, but he didn't have anything else. So I'm a little bit worried that he might wake up a bit in the night for feeds because he hasn't had enough dinner. I mean, it's so hard to tell with babies and toddlers really. Like, I just have to remind myself that, you know, if he was really hungry he would have eaten. But he didn't. He just said he just had a few pieces and the rest of it he just threw on the floor. So I guess we will see. But just in case, I think I should start thinking about heading to bed now. And I'm not going to go straight to sleep because I've got that book that I want to read. But I will think about trying to get lights out and going to sleep hopefully before midnight, because I have been getting better at this. I have been getting better at going to sleep a little bit earlier. It's about 11:30 now at night. I am just finishing up reading my book. And then I'm going to turn my light out and go to sleep. And hopefully we don't have too bad a night tonight. Good morning once again. It is 8:30 a.m. and Oren is still asleep. He did wake up at about 7:10 and I heard him, but I was still really sleepy and out of it. So I thought, oh, I'll just doze a little bit longer and get up in like 5 minutes or so. And he ended up going back to sleep. So I ended up going back to sleep as well for about another hour. But I'm conscious that today is my work day. It's Tuesday. My mum's coming to pick him up at 9 o'clock, so I'm going to need to get him up quite soon. This is kind of unusual, I have to say. He doesn't normally go back to sleep at this time in the morning. Anytime he wakes like 7 or onwards, I'm like, yeah, you've had a good run. He only woke up, I think, once at like almost 2 o'clock whenever I last showed you. I had to get up and feed him and I put him down, and then he started crying a little bit later, not long after that, and I went and gave him the other boob as well, and then put him down, and then he was fine, he went to sleep. And then he slept through till 7, so that was actually pretty good for us. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this 24 hours with a toddler. I can't believe he's no longer a baby, technically. I mean, he's always going to be my baby, obviously, but technically now he's a toddler, and he is very much entering into toddlerhood with some of his behaviours and stuff, so yep, it should be fun. This is actually the last 24-hour video that I'm going to do, because I've done a full year of them now. Well, not quite. I started, I think, when Oren was 4 months old. I did a newborn one, and then I was obviously on maternity leave for a bit, and so I did the next one when he was 4 months old. But since 4 months, I've done one every single month, so I hope it's been interesting to see like how he's changed with each month and things that have been different. I'm really pleased I did this little series, actually. This isn't going to be the end of like day in the lifestyle vlogs. I'm going to do them, but I'm not going to do like the 24-hour type ones anymore. I'm just going to do like day in the lifestyle. And I might increase them a little bit too. So I've been currently doing like 1 a month, and I might kind of go up to 2 now. That I'm going to be working a little bit more, because as I said, Oren's starting nursery this weekend, so I'm going to have a little bit more time to film and to edit videos, as well as kind of continue my other work that I'm doing. Not 100% sure on it yet, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how things work out with this extra time that I'm going to have to work. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're one of my members, thank you so much for the extra support you give every month. And if you're interested in joining, just click on the join link down below and you'll see the little extra benefits that you get, including getting access to these videos a day early. But I need to go and wake up this little monkey now, so I will see you guys very soon. Bye everyone, have a great day.